Okay, I have another tournament report to do today. This is for yesterday's tournament. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't actually expect to be doing this tournament report. I quite frankly didn't even want to because, yes, I put Lightsworns back together for the first time in a very long time, but it had been that long that I'd kind of forgotten exactly how I built the damn thing. So, if you're looking for a good quality, somewhat competitive Lightsworn deck, I mean, yes, this one a local, but the local was but Thursday locals, like I said before, is usually a fun sort of romp. Most people just use fun decks as like no meta anywhere. Um, and so I could pretty much afford to get away with having a subpar sort of deck, but this isn't even subpar. I mean, let's be perfectly I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. This deck list sucks. I actually like one of the first things I did was actually keep a this deck down to 40 cards, which I really should not be able to do. And in retrospect, I really should have just pushed it beyond that limit and gone for at least maybe 43, 44, something like that. That's usually the number I run when I play Light Swans. Um, that being said, there was like a part midway through the tournament where my mills went shit, and then the rest of the tournament was just really, really good mills. That's basically what this deck did. It was literally just an element of luck. So I will go through this piece of crap list that somehow got me my second straight first place win at locals, and you can just sort of judge it there. Three Judgment Dragon, the boss monster, it does things. You blow shit up, you're going to win. Um, Apparently, mass destruction was something that not a lot of players were built, like not a lot of decks were really built to deal with that. I mean, they had ways to stop it, but I actually had like too much mass destruction even for them. Like I won my fifth round match because yes, they had a Stardust, but I was able to bait out like a back row using Michael, and then basically just bait out the Stardust with JD, and then just drop another one, blow it up, and just swing for games. So like even if they had Stardust, I'm just like no, I'm not even just yeah. So fact of too much. Triple Raiden, basically just main sort of light sword monster, aside from Lumina, of course, but Lumina does her own thing, and Raiden does his to mill a whole lot of stuff. He was quite valuable. I think one of the early lists that I didn't show off, I had him at 2, and I don't know why, because he's one of the best. That being said, he's one of the only two light swans that I'm running multiple copies of, the other one being the very obvious Lumina, to bring stuff back, making quick rank 7s with this, or even go Lumina, Lumina, Minerva, which makes Trishula. I didn't get to do that. I did make one attempt to do it, but I got um, ground to a halt by skill drain, which was rather annoying. Then for the one-offs, Gareth, just to basically mill more cards and then draw. I did not see him in the at all. Jane, just an extra beat stick to get over things. One Lila, I was thinking of two, but I I think like the only ones I wanted to keep as multiples were the actually valuable ones, like Raiden and Lumina were easily the two best ones. All these other ones just serve some kind of utility, and you don't really need to run any more than one. There's the and so of course there's Aaron, there's Minerva, there is Felice, which I only summoned off of its effect once. I think I brought it back as well off of a Lumina, and that was about it. One Celestia and one Dragoneth. Dragoneth was planned to be like a towers out in case somebody decided to be a dick and just play something better, namely Cliffort. I never got either that or Celestia out. I didn't have the tribute fodder, so the likelihood is that both of these are going to be coming out. I may actually keep the Dragoneth in there just because of the theory of the towers out, but Celestia, I think for the most part, is kind of useless. I don't really think I'd be running her in any future lists, but I don't even know when I'm going to be playing Light Swans again next, because as soon as I've taken this down, as soon as I've done with this video, I'm taking the deck down and putting your Senjus together, since that's what at this stage that's what I'm planning to play on Sunday, at least at this stage. 2 5 and to banish the Judgment Dragons. It's not anywhere near as good anymore. It actually got a lot more. It was actually a lot more useful when Dragon Rulers were around, but since you've only got essentially 3 good outlets. I mean, if you want to run Light Pulsar, you can, but it's really not that great. It's really nothing more than 25 beats that you can. But, yeah, it's not really that great. I usually started one out. To be honest, sometimes I started one of these out, unless I was going up against something that ran like big beat sticks. But like that's usually just in case I don't deal with Judgment Dragon. So for the Dark Engine, I'm running the 2 copies of Dark Arm Dragon, and my spicy tech for the night was the 2 copies of Blue Mountain Butterfly. This is literally a Kage to Kage for warrior type monsters, and being a warrior type itself means it's searchable through Rotor. This is basically to get Excalibur on the board, just as another Towers out. So I'm actually thinking if this actually tests well enough, I mean, it can only test so well being a Lightsworn deck. It's going to get milled at some point, so you just kind of have to accept that when you're playing stuff like this in Lightsworns that you are at some point going to mill it. This is a really quick Excalibur, level 8 Synchro, any other rank 4 if you use it with any of the other warrior types that you'll find, like Raiden, Gareth, Jane, even Eren. They're all warrior types. They're all searchable through either their own search spell or the Rotor, of course. So, these 2, in theory, were actually pretty good. I did drop it a couple of times and managed to make some stuff with it. So it isn't completely and utterly terrible. And it is a dark attribute, so it does help out a lot. Just think the bonus with that is that I don't have to commit a extra deck slot to running King of the Fair Olymps so that I can search the Kage to Kages. Because if I mill Kage to Kages, then the King of the Fair Olymps is just entirely useless. 2 Bandits, didn't see this a whole lot. If I had Needlebug Nest, I'd probably run a couple copies of that instead. Only problem is, it's just a decrease of dark stuff in the deck. My only attack stoppers or HK stoppers were Necrogard. Now, I completely and utterly forgot that Gauls and Tragodia were cards. I'm not going to lie. You don't see those in the list. All you see are the Necrogarders. I even considered running a Triad Dice or 2, just because it's just 2 more Necrogardeners or something like that. But, didn't really feel too much about it. I mean, I had like I said earlier in the video, I had the freedom to not make this like an absolutely max competitive as possible because fun deck night. 2 Cal Sorcerer, Blackluster Soldier, that's how we get Wyvern out of the way. The problem is, most of the time when I do hit the Wyvern, like very rarely did I actually have one of those in hand. I would usually mill it either before or after I hit the Wyvern, so I just wouldn't be able to get the JD back. Triple Solar Recharge to start the spells. I'm actually only running 8 spells. The rest of the deck's monsters, so there's 32 monsters. So Triple Solar Recharge is the only draw power. 2 charge and 2 Rotor for search power. Rotor just gets pretty much anything else that charge can get, because most of the Lightsworns are warriors, with the exception of Luminite. I think the ones that are not warriors are spellcasters, with the exception of the tribute monsters. So basically, the additional thing it has, of course, is it can search Butterfly, and there's the 1 Soul Charge, which I never really used. I don't even know why I ran it. It was probably better in multiples, but at the same time, there was also Dragon Rulers, so that was a bit of a thing. For the extra deck, I played the 1 Felgrand. I did drop this once because I went triple JD. Thing is though, it was against Ritual Beasts, and they were running Soul Absorption, so I actually couldn't. The 9,000 I hit with the JDs was not enough to kill him, so I had to overlay to a Felgrand, and from there basically ended up winning. Then have the Diamond and Ptolemaeus thing, which is actually funny because if you drop triple JD and you want to keep them all on the board, then if you can make Diamond, you can just make that and just be like, oh hey, I don't have to send any cards to the graveyard. It's good stuff. Emerald for recycling. I probably could have gone with Avarice, but then I'd just run the risk of milling it. Excalibur for the thing I was stating earlier. Dark Rebellion, I mean it's dark, so it just fits the chaos sort of aspect of the deck. And then the 1 Castel. That's all I'm running in the way of ranked 4s, and would you believe it, twice I was in a situation where Exciton was good. And and it finally comes when I decide to run a deck that's not running Exciton. I actually didn't run Black Rose either, for the record, because I just figured, JD's got enough destruction power as it is, so it'll be fine. One rank 3, just in case I can go like Lumina or something, so I'm just like Dante, just mill some more stuff. I believe I got it out once, so it was pretty useful. Synchros, did not go into Synchros a whole lot. I did not make Leo, I did not make Trish. I believe I made Stardust once. Stardust Spark I made at least once or twice. I did not make Clearwing either. But Theory was pretty decent, like in case someone played, I don't know, Shadows or something like that. Archmichael went out with easily the most used synchro of the night, and then lastly the Goyo Guardian, which was pretty nice. The Michael was actually pretty useful in the last match I played, because I was able to get back some life points and basically ensure that I was going to live to see the next turn. And that next turn, actually, I managed to see that next turn and won the match because of that. So I was quite thankful for that. Side deck kind of sucks. Double Diablos, never sided this in against anything. I actually found myself siding a Eclipse Wyvern out, so this really would not have been any good in the slightest. So 2 Shadow Dragon, because in the situations where I feel like I don't need what do you call him, Blue Mountain Butter Spy, I can just throw this in and take out the Blue Mountain Butter Spy, maintain my dark ratios, and of course if I can mill this, that's basically just free MSTs as well, so that's another thing. I got a lot of back row hate because that's pretty much the main thing I hated. Regeki, milled it, I hit it, it does stuff. Galaxy Cyclone, triple MST. The most amazing thing, I played Ritual Beast twice in the tournament. Both times, game 2, he opened up with Dimensional Prison. I immediately top decked this to get it out of the way, and I also had my 3 copies of Royal. I also had one of my 3 copies of Royal Decree ready to shut his traps down. That's basically how I won both matches, in the round robin as well as in the last match. The only other 3 cards playing the side are the 3 breakthrough skill. I can't remember what matches I sided this in against. I think I got it off maybe once, but it wasn't a very common thing. So I think I actually I think I sided it in like 1 match, but I only sided 2 copies in, so the third seemed a bit superfluous. So with that now out of the way, I will now go through my matchups. Provided, of course, I can remember them, because I now actually have not much recollection of my round 1 matchup, other than the fact that I swiftly 2-0'd the matchup. God, that sucks. You know what? I can't even remember my round 2 matchup. That sucks as well. Actually, I think round 2 was the Ritual Beast matchup, and that I won 2-1. I dropped the first game because he just sort of beat over me with the Palios and I bricked. But games 2 and 3, I basically just had Decree and ripped him with JDs. So that's pretty much how most of this went. Round 3, though, I played against Fire Kings. Skill Drain just pretty much screwed me over game 1. And then I once again bricked on Monsters game 2, so I just lost that really, really bad. It was even worse in round 4. I played against Fire Fist, and I did not have the way to get over his back row game 1, so I lost that one. And I can't remember if it was in that match or the match before it, but basically what happened, I'm pretty sure it was the match before it. Basically what happened was I tried to go for a Lumina play. I got skill drained. I ditched Minerva, of course, so I milled the card of Minerva. That card I milled was an MST, so it was very bad. But yeah, that was the round 3 matchup. Don't know why I'm talking about that in round 4, but whatever. That round 4, of course, ended in another 2-0 loss to me. Round 5, though, I played against Karakuri's. I was kind of afraid of this because he can just OTK me, but thankfully the closest he did was going for, I think, like a double 28 swing, and just didn't have the what was it, the limiter removal. So I basically just capitalized on that, dropped JD, and basically just ran him over for game on that occasion, and then did it again second time round. Because I had that board with the Stardust, and so I baited the warning out with Michael, and then I went the first JD, baited the Stardust out, dropped the second JD. He was less than 3,000 because of the warning, ironically, and so I just blew up his board and swung for game. So that was good. Went 3-2. Found out that it was only going to be top 4 cut, and somehow I made it to top 4 cut. So I got Fire Kings again. Again, I dropped the game 1 because of shit. But games 2 and 3, I saw the Decree shut all of his back row down and actually made sure that all of his back row was face down when it happened. And then from there, I basically just swept over with big creatures and won that one. And then I went up against Ritual Beasts again. It was basically the same thing as my round 2 matchup. And basically lost the first one because I didn't have much outs. Top decked MST when he went turn 1 fissure and got rid of that. Then just decreed both games. He actually kind of abused the shit out of Chicken Race, Chicken Game even, Game 3. So he got himself down to a reasonable amount of life points where I could just drop a couple of beat sticks and run over him. And I basically just did that. So this list somehow won me another freaking local, and I don't know how. And also, I just remembered my round 1 matchup was against Galaxies. The closest he'd actually gotten to being somewhat competitive was dropping Galaxy Eyes turn 1 in the second game, but I Chaos Sorcered it away. So there you go. Now I actually have a full list of matchups that I can put into the description. So that is it. Next video will probably be another tournament report, depending on how well I do with your Senjus on Sunday. So I will see you for that, or whatever the hell else it is that I do.